Well, happy Friday, everybody. It is so great to see you here. I have been looking forward to this live stream all week. And frankly, when you hear about this week, you'll see why I screwed today's video up. So anyhow, hold on. Everything's been so screwed up. Let me make sure that I'm actually even live. Am I online? Can anybody see me? Oh, hello from Norway. Awesome. Okay, great. Dylan, you're here. Who else is here? Matthew, I'm so glad you're here. You're going to find out in a minute. Ken, thank you so much for the super chat. BlueTac318, thank you so much. I know who you are. Thank you. Okay, so hello. We got people coming. Oh, Uti from Germany. Florian, hello, hello. All right, they're coming in, ding, 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 all around the world. It's like a rush, you know, it's such a rush to have people from all over the world join this electronic campfire. I love it. I love it. It's my favorite thing. My mood is now going back up. So let's talk about what happened. I published a video. Okay. Let's see if I've got the picture of it here. Hold on. All right, so I published a video. Here's the video, Fujifilm 16mm prime, why I use this lens, okay? Kind of a fun video. So that went up today as my normal Friday video. And in the title of the video and in the description, I referred to this very well-known lens as having an aperture of f1.2, okay? Except there's one little problem with that, and that is, let's say 1.4. You see that? It's right on the lens. It's written right on the lens. Not only did I screw it up in the YouTube video title, the description, and everywhere else, consistently screwed it up, but I also screwed it up in my Final Cut Pro graphics. Okay. And not only that, just to add insult to injury, right? I capitalized the F, which, you know, I don't think that looks as good. So, yeah. I don't, you know, how does one miss something so obvious, right? I mean, it's not like when I'm editing video, you know, when I'm locked and loaded into Final Cut Pro, I'm, you know, it's not like, how could I miss something like that? And the answer has to do with multitasking and just trying to do too many things at once. And so I really, really have to slow it down one task at a time. Does that ever happen to you? Do you ever, when you're multitasking like that, do you ever screw up that royally? Because it's, you know, I mean, obviously the world's not going to end because I have the wrong f-stop, but it's one of those things where it's like, wow, okay, I didn't catch that. What else could I possibly miss next time, you know? The camera pans over and my house address shows in the video. I mean, you know, you got to think about these things when you're publishing on YouTube. So anyhow, I just wanted to get that out of the way. It has been a really stressful week, to be honest with you. My head has not been into videos. It's not been into Fujifilm. It's been into Piper, my dog, my Shetland sheepdog. And Piper's okay, but we had a little bit of a scare. And, you know, for those of you that don't know, this is Piper here. Now, this was shot, by the way, this was shot in F-Log, so there you go. Got an F-Log on a Fujifilm X-T4 running right at the camera. Look at her go. And then I color graded this in, I think it was Eterna, actually. Anyhow, that's Piper. Piper's been with us forever, but she came down with what we believe and what the vet said is pancreatitis. And so something with her pancreas is off. And it was kind of scary this week, and it just threw my entire world. I mean, she's a family member. I mean, she is a family member. And so my head has just been elsewhere. So she's doing well, though. She's back home here from the vet, and I think she's feeling better, and she seems better. So we're going to be keeping our eye on her this weekend. She is an older dog. She's about 13 years old. And for a Shetland sheepdog, that's getting up there. So yeah, so that was one major thing this week. The other thing that's happening this week right now, I don't know if anybody's in the Atlanta area, but we picked up one of these. Anybody want to see this? This is Dragon Con, right? You see this picture right here? This is from the game Dragon's Lair. Anybody ever play that arcade game from the 80s where you have this Dirk, I think his name was Dirk, the knight, and he has to rescue the princess and he has to fight the dragon. And it was one of the very first CD-ROM Laserdisc type games. Anyhow, I lost a lot of quarters on that one, but I did win it. Anyhow, Dragon Con this weekend, and I don't know if I'm going or not, to be honest with you, because the Artemis launch is tomorrow, and I don't want to miss Artemis live. It's a historic event. I'm going to watch it with my kids. So anyway, that's what's going on, a little bit of update. Okay, so what I want to talk about today right, is, first of all, I have two. Let me make sure they're even here still. I know they were for a second ago. Yes, they are here. I have two very special people on this live stream. And when I talk about community, first of all, the thumbnail image, if you saw it for today's live stream, is a little misleading. And guilty as charged. I had to get a thumbnail up quickly to grab people's attention. I simply didn't have time to shoot and deal with another thumbnail. I hate doing thumbnails. I can't stand it. I don't have the time. And so I grabbed an old one from the Viltrox lens review where I'm throwing this lens up in the air, and I called it Creator's Best Friend. And I realized after it went live, some of you probably thought, or if you're joining this video now, are thinking that I'm talking about this lens is, a creator's best friend, right? This is a great lens, okay? The Viltrox 13mm, awesome lens, but I was not talking about that, okay? I'm referring to a creator's best friend in two different things in this video. It's a very different video than what I normally do. One of them is a piece of software that is for Final Cut Pro. It's a plugin that I want to talk about. There have been a number of videos on Creator's Best Friend. That's the name of it. And I'm going to extend it further for some of my Final Cut Pro friends. And it's my way of contributing back. And I feel like I want to contribute back because the Final Cut Pro community is incredible. Just like the Fujifilm community is incredible, the Final Cut Pro community is incredible. And at the end of the day, right, when you shoot footage on one of these and you're shooting all these different video clips, you need to do something with it. And when you edit, that is such a huge part of the creative process. And so Creator's Best Friend is a software app I'm going to demo. I'm going to show it to you really quickly, and then I'm going to show my Final Cut Pro friends how I think it can be extended even better. So those of you that don't edit in Final Cut Pro, I get that. This may be a weird video for you, and that's okay. Not every single thing on my channel is going to be lenses and still photography. So I do tech too, and this is tech. I do Apple stuff, and this is kind of Apple. However, stick around anyway, because I will do some Q&As covering anything. And also the second meaning behind Creator's Best Friend, specifically for Matthew and Dylan, and I'd like to now shout out to both of them. This is Matthew. He has a Final Cut Pro channel. He does Apple stuff. Go check him out. Search for Matthew O'Brien in YouTube. And the second person is awesome, and that is Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Bro. And I love it. I absolutely love it. These guys have forgotten more than I'll ever know about Final Cut Pro. I'm actually nervous as hell that they're in this stream because I'm going to be demoing a program that they know a lot more about than I do. But anyhow, so let me just see who's here. Hey, Michael Spatola's here. I'm going to be interviewing Michael Spatola. Now I've let the cat out of the bag, but I'm going to be doing a podcast with Michael. He's hearing this for the first time. Michael was the photographer at my wedding, okay? So, I am so excited to connect with him. How you doing, Michael? Great to see you here. Okay, so go check those channels out that I just mentioned if you edit in Final Cut Pro. Even if you don't edit in Final Cut Pro, they're great channels. They've got other things too. I'll leave links to them in the description down below this live stream, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to now talk about Creator's Best Friend. I'm going to talk about how to extend it. And once I'm done with this little demo, we'll do a little Q&A as we do on our Friday Electronic Campfire, and we can talk about anything you want. And then I'm going to let you go into this awesome weekend, okay? All right, so for those of you that use Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Pro. And yeah, one thing I do want to mention, I don't know if my timeline is correct or the way I'm naming my videos is correct or my audio tracks are correct. Feel free to point it out if it's not, guys, because yeah, I can take it. I mean, I want to learn. We're all here to learn from each other. And this entire live stream today was brought about. I was going to do a different topic and I changed it the last minute. This entire live stream was brought about by the simple fact that Matthew sent me a link and invited me to join his Discord server, which was like this incredible honor for me. So I'm kind of excited about that. All right, let's get through this. Let's do this. So this is Final Cut Pro, editing a video, okay? And Creator's Best Friend, all right, looks like, it's a piece of software. I will have a link to it down below, but it looks like this, all right? And basically, it's a plugin, just like you would have a plugin for Lightroom or you'd have a plugin for Photoshop or for, Capture One, whatever. It's the same type of thing. It's not made by Apple. It's not made by Final Cut Pro, but it's a plugin. And once you have it plugged in, you notice it's right up here. Okay, it's right, you see this little weird heart thing. You might see a different character on there, but that is, let me move myself down here. You might see a different character there, but that's where you get to the plugin. And when you click on it, you should see Creator's Best Friend open up. Let me zoom back out. Yeah, and there it is right here. It's this little window. Doesn't look too exciting. Why would you use this and what would you use it for? Let me show you. So what I'd like you to do, if you're watching this live stream, if you don't know it already, on a lot of my videos, I have chapter markers, right? Where it shows the time, and then I list what I talk about, like 00:00 intro, welcome, and then, best Fujifilm lens of all time, and then, conclusion, outro, ending, and it's a way to mark chapters in YouTube. And the way that we do that, okay, the way that we do that is in YouTube, we kind of write it in like this. So whenever you see this, YouTube will see that and go, oh, those are chapter markers, and they'll make them chapters, right? When we're publishing our videos. That's what that's about. So in Final Cut Pro, what you can do is in your timeline, right? You can add chapter markers here. And the way that I do it for any Final Cut Pro users is I have my M key on my keyboard set. So when I hit M, it puts a chapter marker. Not a regular marker, a chapter marker, okay? And the way that I do that, I go up to Final Cut Pro, Commands, Customize, and when I'm in here, I'll search for marker. Whoops, probably better to search for chapter marker. And there it is, add chapter marker, okay? Can you see that right there? Add chapter marker. And then what I do is I will press the M key on my keyboard. So I'll just press M, and then it'll ask me to reassign it. And I'll just say reassign, okay? Now that I've done that, I'll click save. And when I go back to my timeline, if I press the M key, like right here, okay, you see that line is? I'm gonna press the M key, boom, there it is. I've added it. And when I click on it, I can type something in here. Like let's say it's my outro. All right, and then I save it and I'm done. So that's what that does. And you build up a bunch of these chapter markers all along here. Does everybody see that? Okay, and chapter markers correspond with chapters of whatever video or tutorial that you're making and all of that. So what I normally do before the era of Creator's Best Friend is I would normally publish my video to YouTube, and then I've got to go back into Final Cut Pro, shuttle through it, find where I'm talking about, say, importing into Capture One, and then find where I'm talking about using layers in Capture One, and so forth. I have to find those areas, and then from there, I note down the times that they appear in the video, and then I go back to YouTube, and I type them in, okay? Really long, really tedious. So what Creator's Best Friend allows you to do is you click on it, right? So you go up to that little heart thing that's up here, click on it, and it opens up, and then I go to my timeline, and I drag my timeline over, and I drop it in here. Have a look at this. You see that right there? Oh, you can't see it because I have the wrong thing switched on. All right, hold on. I got to do this again. All right, here we go. Back to Final Cut. Okay, so I go up to here, right? I click on this. Boom. This opens up a special window right here. It doesn't look like much. I drag my main timeline on it, and boom, there it is. You see that? Now, this is just text, but it's taken all of those chapter markers and it's put it into a nicely formatted block of text that I could select the whole thing, copy, switch over to YouTube in the Chrome browser, and paste it into my video description, and I've got my chapters. It saves a lot of time. So that's Creator's Best Friend. And that's what I use now, and that's what Dylan's video was about. And I know Matthew's talked, in fact, I found out about it from Matthew's video. So now we're going to take it a step further. I'm going to show you another trick that's awesome. And for those of you that don't edit in Final Cut Pro, you are going to love what I'm about to show you for other things that you may use, you want to save time for with regard to text. Okay? So let's see who is here. See you later, Michael. He's got to go back to work. Work first. I get it. I get it. Right. Okay, I'm editing wrong. Great. There we go. All right, so let's do this now. We're going to go back. I'm going to show you how to supercharge this and make it a lot better. Okay, so first of all, if you select the text, so, you select the text, instead of putting it to YouTube, I'm going to show you a special program that's free, that doesn't cost a dime. It works on Macs, it works on Windows, and it works on Linux. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called Visual Studio Code. Okay, Visual Studio Code. And I think I've got a picture of what it looks like. Hold on. Okay, so I don't, but let me find it real quick. I go to Google. I go to Visual Studio Code. All right, there it is right there. That's kind of what it looks like. All right, it's free. It looks really daunting. It looks, if you don't know about code or, programming, you look at that and you just go, ah! Trust me when I tell you it is, you don't need it for 99.9% of what it does. But there is something it can do that is absolutely awesome and works with Creator's Best Friend. Okay, so and I'm just using that as an example. It'll work with lots of things, but I'm going to use it today to extend Creator's Best Friend. Because one of the things that I don't like, all right, is when I publish my chapters, I don't like it to have the time and then a dash. I like to have the pipe character. Call me crazy, but I like mine to look like this, okay? You see that right there? That's how I like mine to look like. So I'm going to show you the most incredible thing, and then I'm going to show you further how you can even edit regular text and save yourself so much time you won't believe it. So let's go back to the actual screen. Here we are. I'm going to grab this text that came out of Creator's Best Friend. I'm going to copy it, okay? I am opening up Visual Studio, which is just a blank document. You see this? It's nothing. There's nothing to it at all. Okay, it's just a blank document with nothing. And I'm going to paste it in there. And if you don't see a blank document, you can go up to File, New Text File. It's like a notepad editor. Think of it like that, okay? Now, let me show you the key to this is using the Option key and pressing and clicking down with the mouse. So for example, this came right out of Creator's Best Friend. And what I'm going to do is let me zoom in so you guys can see it. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click right here. I'm going to press and hold down Option. I'm sorry, Shift Option. It's Shift Option. And look at this. Select, 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 select. It is multi-select in a row like that. And now I'm just going to type the pipe character. Boom. That may not look like much, but what I did was instead of having to edit each line, I was able to select in the middle of a couple of columns of text something and edit it. And the reason why that's important is if you ever need to edit something, whether it's on your YouTube channel, whether it's in documents that you're providing clients or customers or anything you're working on, stuff in Excel, you can't, sometimes find and replace doesn't work. Like, you know, if I do a search and replace, like let's say, let me go back, let me grab some text and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. If I go back here and I grab some I need some links. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, these are good. If I grab this, come back in here, I'm gonna go ahead and paste it. Okay, so I'm here. You know, if I wanted to get rid of this www, I can select across it like that, and then do Command L, whoops, and then, oops, sorry. There, and you could just hit the backspace key, and there, it's like a very, very, very fast find and replace. But it takes it a step further. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to be done with this demo. But this ratchets it up to 11, okay? So what you can do, if I go back to here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of this. Copy, go back into here, paste. Okay, this is everything in the description of my video, of a typical video. And if you notice, okay, have a look at this. I have an icon that's a little book for table of contents. I have a little rocket ship, right? Connect with me here. By the way, if you haven't connected with me, you should do so. Those are my links. Okay, going down, additional resources. I got a toolbox, right? So what would you do if you imagine if this was a huge block of text spanning multiple pages with these icons? How would you find and replace, say, you wanted to, let's say you wanted to change all of these icons, instead of them being different for each thing, you wanted to all have them be the same icon. Actually replace that. It would be impossible to do with find and replace. It would take you forever. What you can do, okay, is go up to one of the icons right here, click to the left of it, scroll down, find the other one, hold down Option and click. And as you can see, it's flashing there. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to switch. Okay, find the first icon, click to the left of it. You see that right there? Scroll down, find the second icon, hold down Option, click to the left of it. So you have it's flashing there, and it's flashing there, and you can click here. It's multi-select in different places throughout the document. So now that I've done that, okay, all I have to do, I can move my cursor over to here. I can move it back. Let me show you a little more zoomed in. It's so hard to see with this thing. But you see, look, look, look. I can move it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the backspace. And then I'm just going to pull up camera, and I can drop in a camera. And just in 2 seconds flat, I was able to create cameras in a specific place. You see that? I was able to pick different spots throughout my document and then replace and manipulate those areas. And you can do so much with this to manipulate if you have documents that you've written, stuff that you need to revise, or you need to just change stuff up and around, this thing is such a great, it's like Notepad on steroids, and it's completely free. And what I do is I take Creator's Best Friend, I drop it in here, and then I make it to my liking. I get rid of the dash. If I don't want, I could put parentheses around. For example, I could take everything out of Creator's Best Friend, drop it in Visual Studio, and then put parentheses just around my chapter headings. Does that make sense? Right? That would be impossible to do with find and replace or anything else. So that's the tool. And I use it for that all the time. All my videos, it saves me a lot of time. And I'm hoping that for some of my Final Cut Pro friends, that will help you. I really do. I mean, I'm not a Final Cut expert by any means. So this is my way of, giving back a little bit. Okay? And if you want more about it, I mean, I could take a deep dive into this thing. This thing can do a lot, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. And frankly, it's boring as hell to sit and look at text editors for like an hour. I don't want to do that. So I wanted to just give you a little taste of it so that you can go, hey, crap, damn, wow. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but it sounds interesting. I'll go check it out. Right? So anyhow, we're all done with that. I'm going to move that out of the way. What do we want to talk about? Okay, let me go back into here. Let's look at the stream, which I haven't looked at all. I'm so sorry. I have not seen the super chats. Let me go and do that now. You are welcome. Is it Fromer? Fromer? Okay, I guess. I hope I have it right. Thank you for the donation. Mr. Jarble, again, Mr. Jarble is going to be an honorary, I haven't decided what I want to do with Mr. Jarble yet, but I have to have something special for this person because Mr. Jarble has been so supportive of this channel on these live streams. It's almost unbelievable. And I feel weird because he literally, he doesn't miss a show. So thank you so much. And please don't be ashamed for, look at this guy. He's ashamed for being late. Come on, look at this. Don't be ashamed. So that's awesome. And yeah, this is so cool. So next week we have Fuji Summit happening on the Thursday. XH2, all right? Anything you want me to answer that I know of about that, I'd be more than happy to tell you. I've been doing a lot of looking into that. Okay, so that's for sure. Any video suggestions as well, let me know. Whether they're Fuji related, editing related, lens related, tech related, let me know. I'm kind of at a weird place with the channel where there's so much I love talking about, and what I'm narrowing this down to, and tell me if I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong, is that I think this channel does best when I'm not necessarily reviewing stuff. It does better when I'm teaching stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense, but let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Because like when I did the Flash video, I felt like that was me. I was in my zone. And that was one of the few videos that I did where I didn't use a teleprompter. And I just was back into being in an auditorium in front of a podium, and I was back in that zone. And I love it. And the Capture One video, very similar to that. And so, you can be a good tech reviewer. You can sit here and go, well, this lens has a blah, 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 and you can be really good at it. And there are some incredible, YouTubers that can do that. I don't know if that's me. I think that teaching, actual teaching, is the future of this channel. So then the question becomes, teaching what? Right? Is it the photography? Okay. Fujifilm? Okay. Final Cut Pro? Maybe. What do I teach? I don't know. What do you want to learn about? Whatever you want to learn about, I'll teach. You want me to teach the molar volume of hydrogen? I'll teach that. So what do we see here? Okay, yes. Andy, I absolutely am. I have lesson 1. I am about 3/4 of the way writing the script for right now. On the Capture One videos, they're heavily scripted because I have to be absolutely right on. I can't do stupid things like give the wrong aperture number when I'm talking about someone that's, you know, with Capture One. I've got to have it right. So yeah, there are going to be more of those for sure. The trick with Capture One videos is the trick with any kind, and help me, my fellow creators out there, when you're teaching a tech topic, whether it's, you know, Final Cut Pro or anything else, the hardest part of teaching is you don't want to bore the people who are experienced, and you don't want to lose and leave behind the people, you know, like the kindergartners, you want to go at their pace that they can understand. And the college graduates, it's like having a classroom with both. It is really a challenge. And so I try now to say, all right, this is Flash Basics. I put the word basics in the title. I'm not doing advanced in this video. Capture One is going to be basics because there's a lot of people that are confused by Capture One. So I'm going to start there. Okay. So 2 I recommend. Eufy Security is one of the ones that I reviewed on the channel. They're great. I have one for the studio. Another one is the ring. Wait, which one is it? Hold on. I have it on the phone. What's it called? Ring. We have one on. I have a Ring system on the front door, and I have a Eufy Security doorbell cam on the back door. So, and it's great. I mean, the Eufy I reviewed for the channel. They work fine. Eufy is a little bit slower on catching motion. Like if somebody is walking and kind of in front of the camera, Ring will catch it a couple of seconds faster than Eufy will. It's almost like Ring is a little bit more plugged in, just a couple of seconds more. But what's great about Eufy Security is you don't have to deal with cloud storage and hosting and paying monthly fees. All of your video footage is stored locally on the unit that you have, the base unit at your home. And so that's a nice thing, to be honest with you. I am so over paying subscription fees for stuff. If you go, I challenge you, open up your Amex or Visa or Master, whatever statements, and look at how much money you're spending on renting or services and compare that to what it was, say, 5 or 7 or 10 years ago. It's crazy. So I'm trying to keep that in check. But thank you. These super chats today are certainly helping for the XT5 and the XH2 fund for sure. Yeah, see, Dylan, that's the thing, man. That's exactly. I mean, I've had a couple of comments. I had to delete. Well, I don't delete comments very often. For me to delete a comment that's left on one of my channels has to pass through a bunch of gatekeepers and criteria. Okay, if any personal attacking, like, I think you're an effing, you know what? Yeah, at that point, I'm going to delete it, right? But if it's someone who says, I think that what you said is effing ridiculous, I'm not going to delete it. Because they're talking about what I'm saying, they're disagreeing. They could be a little nicer about it, but is it worth banning them and deleting them? No. But yeah, I have gotten some comments, some very angry comments from people who get mad because I'm not going into more advanced topics. And I'm purposely dialing that back. I am purposely dialing that back. Hold on one second. Thank you. What's there a note on there? Wait a minute, they're not going to see this. Hold on, what are you doing? This is so awesome. So, Mr. Jarble, who is the biggest supporter of these live streams, this is for you, pal. This is for you. I would like you to have a sip in his honor. Okay, you can come in here real quick in the stream. Yeah. I'm nervous as hell anyway, because I don't have an editing button, you know. But you're live to hundreds of people, or maybe dozens. I don't know how many people are on here. Little. Okay, so to Mr. Jarble and to the Final Cut Bro, to Matthew O'Brien, and to the awesome, incredible, wonderful Fujifilm family, we love you. Cheers.
Oh, that made a nice sound.
Did you hear that? Let's do it one more time. Okay. Up here.
Wait, your hand's on it. You can't make it. It doesn't resonate right. There you go.
An audio critic here. Okay. How's that? Does that sound good? Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's actually really good.
Oh, that's delicious. Okay.
Okay. Back to the show.
Back to the show. Okay. Right. So, what do we have here? Oh, we got super chats coming in. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody wants to drink today. Thank you so much. There's another one right there. Thank you. Yeah, get another bottle. Quickly. Hurry. Right. Okay, so, yeah, what were we talking about? I don't know. Hey, Eric, how you doing, pal? Awesome. And Natalie's in the house, of course. Okay, so, yeah, that's the challenge I have. And this was a hard week. I almost canceled the stream. I know I always say that. I almost canceled the stream today. I really did. The whole thing with Piper, and I just have to show her again. I'm sorry. Yeah, there she is. The whole thing with Piper was, for me, hard, and so, and she has been with this channel since day one. I've used Piper in more tracking, right? And I think somebody asked a question about video subject tracking, and you can do Face Eye Auto Detect, right, on the X-T4, which works fairly well, and you can choose which eye. I recommend leaving it on auto for Face Eye Auto Detect tracking. I think someone had that question. I just wanted to catch it. Okay. Let's see. Yes. The GFX 100S camera still is the best camera I've ever used, and would love to do that for sure. I'm going to be reaching out to Fuji, let's just say very soon, okay? And talking about some ideas I have to kind of take this thing to the next level. Because I got lots of ideas, lots of things. Yeah, I don't want to, yeah, Gordon, this is rant territory for me with these monthly fees, because I see the other side of it. I mean, I am very familiar. I've used Visual Studio, not just Visual Studio Code. I've used Visual Studio Regular. I have written apps. I have programmed websites. I've constructed databases. I've written APIs, you name it. And so I see the other side of it. I see the software developer side where it's like, we build this app, and if somebody pays less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks for it, we're expected to just support this thing in perpetuity forever for them and release fixes and updates. And every time Apple drops some little bomb about we're going to change this security thing in the next OS, and now every single app code has to be rewritten, which they've done a million times. Yeah, how do you pay for that? I don't think that software subscriptions are inherently evil or bad. I think there's a place for them. But I think if you're going to have a software subscription, you need to really up your game when it comes to customer support. I mean, it has to be, they have to come to your house with a bottle of Maker's Mark and some Vicodin if you're having pain, okay? It really, the support, what I don't like to see is the default of, hey, we're going to spin up an app and, we won't even have our phone number or email. It'll be this plug in this and this open source that, and we'll start charging $7.99 a month for that, right? That's the kind of stuff that gets to me. But I don't know. What do you think about it? Software subscriptions, paying for Creative Cloud. I think it's nice to have a combination. I like how Capture One does it, where you can pay one fee and you get 1 year and that's it of the updates, or you could rent it, pay it per month and have constant updates. I look at Final Cut Pro, that they're constantly updating it, but frankly, they're not adding the level of features that I'm hoping for, it's particularly with regard to audio. So if I were paying for a monthly subscription of, say, $11.99 a month for Final Cut Pro as software, would I be a happy camper? I don't know. What do you think, Final Cut Pro people? Okay, so where are we here? I go off on all these tangents. I'm so sorry. Let me reset. Come on, guys. Let's get some more questions here. Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Natalie, for sure. Yeah, it is job security. Absolutely. I'm not even paying attention to where I'm dropping these chats on the screen. I'm covering up my face. Yeah, choices. It's one of those things. I don't know, and I don't know about you, but I'm paying at least twice as much to drive around now in gas. And I mean, I know people complain about this, but it's no joke, And so I am taking another look at monthly software fees, and can I do it? My grandfather walked 2 miles. No, but I gotta say this. I use Apple Notes, and I use it because it's a great piece of software, and it immediately captures what's in my mind. It has a little thing on the phone I can boom, and so it's wonderful. Would I pay a monthly fee for to do that? For $5 or $6 a month to do that? I don't know. Probably not, because like my grandfather was able to get just as much stuff done as I could, and he still had 24 hours in his day. And you know what he did? He didn't use any apps. He just made a point, and this is where discipline comes in, because a little bit of discipline will go so much farther than a lot of apps. And so what he did was he would grab a piece of paper, right? He would, probably shouldn't be showing these contracts that I have here on like live stream. Okay. So he would take a piece of paper out. Every day he would do this. He'd take a piece of paper out, and he would write at the top, things to do today. Things to do today. He would underline it, and then he would just list them. And then as his day went on, he'd just check them off. And when he was done, he'd throw it away. And that worked great. And I'm just wondering, does it need to be more complicated than that at the end of the day? Maybe it does. I used Notion for a long time. I made a video on Notion, and I don't use it anymore. I stopped. I use Apple Notes, and that's about it. I used to use Evernote. I stopped using Evernote because their software on the Mac is terrible. And at this point, I'm starting to simplify, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. But if Notion is working for you, whatever works for you, great. But yeah, monthly fees, maybe we need to dial those back a little bit. And you're right. There are absolutely, Gus has a point. There are a number of I use Joplin. Gus, do you know about Joplin? If you don't know what Joplin is, go look it up. Joplin, I think it is. It's an open source. Think of Evernote, but completely free and open source. It's a little bit partying like it's 1997 with the design, okay? But you know what? It works. It works really well. I mean, I've used it all the time. Yeah. So Eric brings up a good point about software working perfectly. I come from an era of driving down to CompUSA and buying a box of software, whether it was, Windows 98 Special Edition, driving back to my office, loading it up, and then not having to do that again for a couple of years. Now, okay, just as an example, I don't know what I was going to do today. Just as an example, I'm running this live stream through my main computer, this MacBook, okay? But I didn't want to do the demos on the live stream. I wanted to do the demos on my old MacBook. So I have the old one, but I haven't been using it much. I have not turned this MacBook on in almost a month. And so right before today's live stream, I had to get, for this demo, I had to get Final Cut Pro configured, the plugins put in. I had to get and make sure that the web browser was set up right and all that. So I turned it on, and it just didn't stop updating. I mean, it was one plugin after another. It's just crazy. So yeah, I feel for you, pal. I do. Let's see. That's absolutely right. I used Office and OneNote, both. And I like OneNote. OneNote, well, not Microsoft Office with OneNote. I've used OneNote back. What I like about OneNote is that it really mirrors the idea of like a filing cabinet where you have folders. They look like folders. Evernote does the whole thing with tags. I'm not a big tagging person. It's because I have so much experience using a different methodology. So I gravitated toward OneNote. But now I'm Apple Notes all the way, or I started doing this piece of paper, things to do today. Just writing it down. All right. Okay. Hey, George. Thank you, pal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Awesome. Hey, Catherine. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Natalie brings up a good point. I mean, if you're going to start charging monthly fees, then cloud storage, you can eliminate things. Like if you're getting your cloud storage through company X, then you don't need it with company Y, like Dropbox, right? So I'm working on a video right now on Synology and kind of removing Dropbox altogether from the equation. So I'm working on that as well to deal with photo and file storage. And that's one of those videos that it's like, you ever work on a project and it just goes on and on and on, and you wonder why you started it? Yeah. So it's not coming out next week is all I'm going to say. Okay, so someone's a little grumpy about the ads on the channel. All right. So I can control certain things with my videos. YouTube, when we publish a video, there's some checkboxes. One of the checkboxes says allow mid-roll advertising. In other words, interrupt my video at a spot of my choosing. I can actually choose it and show an ad. Now, I don't do that. I have a certain criteria for that. If I'm doing a sponsored video, regardless of the length of the video, like I did a Capture One sponsored video, the video was 20 minutes long, and I did not do that. I did not check the box. I will not interrupt my video with ads if the video itself is sponsored. Okay, so that's one thing out of the way. If I have a video that's less than 8 minutes, I will not interrupt the video with ads. I don't check the box. Even though, which I can't because YouTube doesn't allow it. Now, if it's between 8 and 10 minutes, 99% of the time I don't interrupt it with ads. If the video, though, is over 10 minutes and it's not sponsored, then yeah, I'm going to find one point in the video to stick an ad. And I need to do it. I got to pay for the lights here. And if I don't do that, I see my YouTube income drop down. And so I know ads suck. I get it, but they do help pay and keep the channel running. And I don't want you to be blasted with ads, but I look at it as when you're watching regular television, usually every 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, you're presented with an ad. And with regular TV, the ads are 3-4 minutes long. So with my video, it's like, 5 seconds, and then you click next, or it's 30 seconds at the most. So yeah, I mean, I hear you. Ads are frustrating. And I will definitely, now if you're seeing them, what you said every 15 seconds, that is not, I don't know, something's wrong there because it does not do that on my end. And I make sure not to do that. But, let me know what you think on that because I, like every other creator, we're trying to make a living off this. We have to have some ads, but I get how annoyingly frustrating they can be. And I also really do consider where I'm placing the ads. When I make videos about very serious topics, the 100K videos, all that stuff, I don't put any ads on them at all. But if I'm talking about, my favorite Fuji lens, 6 reasons why I blah, 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 and the video is 12 minutes long, I'll put an ad in there for sure. One ad. I never do more than 1 ads. The only exception would be if the video was longer than 30 minutes. If it's longer than half an hour, I'll put 2 ads in it, probably, most likely. Okay. And yeah, I mean, YouTube Premium certainly is what, I mean, not a lot of people can afford it. I mean, it's another monthly subscription, but it's certainly, once you have YouTube Premium, it's real difficult to go back to not having it. But not everybody can afford that. And that is another monthly charge for sure. I love it. I have YouTube Premium and I would rather give up a lot of other things than my YouTube Premium. So, yeah. In fact, if I had to give up this or YouTube, well, I have to think about that. Anyway, so I absolutely did video production back when they had digital videotape. That's a huge bulk of my editing was done with that, using a program called Video Toaster. Go Google video toaster. I don't want to get too far in the weeds right now. Go video. Video toaster is the official name of it. I'm trying to remember. I did editing. Here we go, Matthew, if you're watching this. I have edited 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. I've got a lot of 3/4 inch edits. And 2-inch tape. I have edited 2-inch tape. 2-inch tape. In fact, one of the shows they shot on it was All in the Family. And there's only I think there's only 8 or 9 2-inch machines left. They're really, really, really rare. And I mean, we're talking 2-inch tape here. And so, yeah, I did. And what's interesting about that style of editing is completely the opposite of Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, because Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve can keep up with you. If you know how to use the software, if you're familiar with using the magnetic timeline, it can keep up. As long as you have a fast computer, it keeps up with the speed of thought and the speed of cut. And I love that about it, because when I'm editing, my thoughts are going 9,000 miles an hour. However, when you're editing tape, okay, it's stop, rewind, and you're hitting a button, it goes, and you're constantly having to stop for little tiny pauses and wait. And it's annoying now. It would be a nightmare now. But back then, it gave some benefit to your edits that I can't really put into words and describe. But there was something about forcing you to slow down. In some ways, I think made people better editors, is all I'm going to say on it. Okay. Yeah. And Paul, I also edited quite a bit the Super 8 footage as well. Super 8, I didn't do professionally. I did just for fun. But, cutting, and man, when you make that cut, it's like, you got to be careful because you're always working with the original source, right? So, yeah, it's, I do miss that. All right, Matthew, yep, Artemis, and NASA Social. I don't know, some of you creators out there, NASA just sent me an email. That was funny. Last night I opened up my inbox and I got an email from NASA, right? I was like, whoa, NASA. And I forgot I had applied. There's a thing that NASA has called NASA Social. And what they do is you sign up for it. You give them your Instagram account info, which I don't have very many followers, but YouTube channel, I gave them that. And what they do is they keep it on file, and then they have these events where they invite you down to NASA. You get to tour, the Space Center. You get to see the VAB, go inside the vehicle assembly building, and actually be there. And so you should check it out. Anybody that's into NASA or Artemis or the Falcon launches, you definitely want to check out NASA Social. Even if you have a small amount of followers, you should still submit because they're looking for variety. Not necessarily people with the most followers or subscribers. Okay, good. So kind of wrapping that up. Yeah, Mr. Jarble, it certainly wasn't for people who are used to things going fast. And that's natural. I'm the same way. Back in the day, you would open up a carton of milk, right? Or orange juice, okay? It would be like a carton, and you would peel it back like this. Then you'd have to turn the carton and kind of move it like that and make it into a spout, okay? Before you could pour it into a glass. And then they came out with like this thing, this screw-off cap, and you undid the cap, and then you had to peel off the tin foil, the foil covering, and that took a lot less time. And then they came out with a thing where you unscrew it, and there's like this little pull thing. You know what I'm talking about? You pull this plastic thing out. And now, I couldn't imagine going back to the old way of doing it. Every time something's made faster, you acclimate to that. And then you can't go back. There is no way in hell an editor today is going to be able to go back and edit on a video toaster. I mean, I wish them luck if they tried. Okay, we got to talk a little bit some photography stuff before I go. Any questions on photography? Anything? I've been talking about editing the whole video. I feel bad. My normal audience is all about still photography. So I'm really sorry if I didn't cover that as much as I normally do. This was a very special live stream. I crossed over. I didn't talk about Sony, okay? I'm just saying. I kept it Fuji. I want a little credit for that. Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you so much. I'm just going down, checking. 8K editing. Yeah, that'll be real fun, storing all that footage. All right. Well, right. Setting VCR timers. Yeah, that's another one. Setting that was always I gave up on that. I would rather miss the show. I would rather oversleep than try and figure out how to set the alarm on a digital clock in a hotel, before iPhones, having to deal with, yeah, I couldn't deal with that. All right, let me make sure I covered everything today. Creator's Best Friend, we talked about that, right? Creator's Best Friend, Visual Studio Code, Dragon Con, Piper, I mentioned Piper, clarification on the lens video. Any questions on the 16mm lens? Let me know real quick in the comments. I love this lens. I've gotten some comments about, I am not saying that this Fuji lens is better than Viltrox. If you're on a budget, get the damn Viltrox. This is the best Viltrox lens that they make. Okay, hands down, this is the best one right here. See it? Look at that. Beautiful little lens, okay? This is the best one. What I am saying is that the whole point of today's video was that anytime you see somebody talking about using a piece of gear, like I was talking about this camera and this lens, you're getting their world. You're stepping inside their world, and they are sharing with you when they say, this is the best lens. For them, it's the best lens. And for me, this was and is the best B-roll lens that I've been using lately. I use this, I can get in at 60 frames a second, I can slow it down in Final Cut Pro, and it's great. But for some of you, this is definitely not a fit. Or for some of you that perhaps don't want to drop $1,000 on a lens, which this thing is, damn, you can have incredible pictures with this. And I did a review video on this lens, so go check it out. Viltrox 13mm. Viltrox, if you're watching this video, I don't know, are you making new lenses, tilt shift stuff? Send me an email. I want to hear from you. It's been a while. Okay, so yeah, it's all good, but there's no right tool for the job. The right tool is always the tool that helps your workflow. And let me tell you the best tool of all, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, John, that's coming. In fact, I'm shooting that this weekend. After the Artemis launch, I'm shooting that. The best tool I've found, yeah, is you. It's Creator's Best Friend. As I said in the beginning of this video, it's the support that I'm getting from the community, because there's jobs and then there's jobs. Some jobs, if you're feeling like crap, or you're tired, or you're having a really rough day, or your dog is sick, you can go to work and you can sit in front of an Excel spreadsheet and just kind of do it. Or whatever you do, right? When you're in front of a camera and your job is to teach and make it funny or make it interesting and to keep that energy going, you have to do that, and you have to be on point. It's hard. And as evident today, I messed up the video this morning with the wrong information I put in there. I mean, for a teacher to put out wrong information is the worst sin of all. So I'm sorry about that, but my head wasn't in it. But I got the video done, and it's still a good video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about that. Florian, great to see you, pal. I will see you in coffee time on Monday. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Uh-oh. I don't know if it rocks. It's a great camera for stills. For video, I'm I'm just not, I don't have one with me right now. The menus, I've just got to get past the Sony menus. I have a Sony ZV-1 Natalie's talking about, and I live inside Fuji. And so there's something about the Sony way of doing it that my mind, it's like some people that come to Final Cut Pro and they don't use the magnetic timeline. They could never wrap their minds around it. There's just something off with it. I am not one of those people, but I love the magnetic timeline. But I am not one of those people that loves the Sony menus, camera menus. There's something off with them. I don't know I think it's the choices are too close together. There's a weirdness in how you go horizontally versus it's not, for me, it's just an odd choice. And it's maybe just because I'm not used to it yet. So I am really trying to learn it. I want to be bilingual, bi-camera menu lingual, so to speak. I have not, Matthew. I have not shot it. Never. But anybody that has, let them know what you think of that camera, because it's certainly not cheap. Any other questions for today? Wait, what's this about? Okay. My tangent on VS Code. I will do another. Do you want me to do another tangent on VS Code? I'll be happy to do it. Yes. Quick tips for slow-mo video. Okay, so obviously, let me do just a couple of quick tips. I think that's fair because I do want to address some Fuji stuff. With slow-mo video, obviously, you want to shoot at a higher frame rate. I showed you in a previous video how you can get around that using optical flow in Final Cut Pro and in Premiere, and there's a way to do it in DaVinci Resolve. But like everything else, like exposure, you really want to get it right in camera first. So, best advice I can give you is shoot at a higher frame rate. Keep in mind, though, that you can't obviously slow it down if you have a dialogue scene and you have audio, because then it's going to slow down the audio. So for B-roll, though, for stuff that you're cutting away to, yes, you shoot it at a high frame rate. Should it be 60 or 120 frames a second? Well, obviously, if you can do 120 frames a second without losing quality, all things being equal, that'll give you more flexibility, in your editor. But 60 frames per second slowed down on a 24 frames per second timeline is going to look fine. And you can have some incredible stuff. So that's number one. The second thing about slow-mo footage and about B-roll that I do a lot is let's say you're shooting some B-roll of this lens, okay? And you have the lens sitting on the table right here. You have the camera here. And you're going to sweep into it and go this way, okay? There's two ways that you can do it. All right. One way is while you're sweeping in, you are pulling focus so that the lens is constantly staying in focus as you're moving the angle and pulling out. That's a lot harder to do. The other way you could do it is to just put it in manual focus. And what happens is as you're zooming in, it's blurry, blurry, blurry. Then it gets clear, then it gets blurry again. When you're doing it that way, go slower with your motion of your camera, okay? Because when you get into your editor, you'll be glad you did. Okay, that's one tip I would give you for sure. And do it both ways, even if you're not sure you're going to use it. If you're pretty sure that you only want to come in and do that kind of thing, do that. But then do a thing where you have it where it kind of goes in and back like that. You can't go back to the set once you're in the editor. So it takes just a second to do it from a different angle. So get multiple angles, right, when you're shooting B-roll. And for that slow motion. The other thing about slow motion, another tip I want to give you, don't worry so much about locking the camera down on a tripod. You don't need to do that as much in slow-mo because by slowing it down, it's going to kind of mask away and hide a lot of that camera shake. Not all of it, but a lot more than if you were shooting at the same frame rate you're delivering to. So you can, use a handle if you can to try and, keep it as steady as you can, but don't not do the shot because you don't have a tripod or you just don't have the time to get it on a tripod or whatever. Do your best with it. Hold it as steady as you can. I always will breathe out before I go like that. So I'm not drawing in a breath while I'm doing it. There's a lot of other tips, but that's just a few I just wanted to cover in the very limited time we have. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you. Yes, Natalie, it can. Thank you all. Again, this was the highlight of my week. I'm serious. This was the highlight of my week. I mean, it's all downhill from this. Now, I mean, it's going to be good. We're going to have a good weekend. Going to do the Artemis launch. Those of you in backstage, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I don't normally plug things, but you know what? I'm going to plug things. I have a Discord server for those YouTube channel members and backstage members. Go check it out if you'd like to join a community. I would love to see you. I have 2 levels of backstage. One is like the regular level, which has all the benefits and the stuff. You can go check it out. I've got a link in the thing. And then there's the Gear Iguana Hall of Fame. There's no difference in benefits other than bragging rights and that your name is on the studio wall forevermore, which is kind of cool. So go check it out. And thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to start to wrap this up here. Let me do one last quick scan here. Okay. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for all the super chats. I will review all the comments. I get them in a text file. I'll open it in Visual Studio Code. And what I do is I actually can multi-select. I'm able to remove a lot of the junk and see them nicely formatted. So I'm going to be reviewing those through. Go check out Matthew's channel. Go check out Dylan's channel. And you know, Dylan is, both of these guys are great teachers. Dylan has what I think a real sense of branding. You know, he's got merch. He's got his shirt, Final Cut Bro. I mean, I just look at that and I'm in awe because I don't do any of that and I need to. Should I do branding or does branding turn you off? I don't know anything about it really. And so he does it so well and I'm in awe of his channel. Everything about it, he's got color consistency, thumbnail consistency. It's awesome. So really, really cool. And the rest of you, thank you. The next live stream will be all in on photography, still photography. There will be no video. There will be no motion. There will be no editing in the next live stream, okay? I promise. And if you're wondering what the topic of the next live stream is, then you've been sleeping under a rock because it's Fujifilm's X Summit. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you, everyone. If you did like this video, this is me talking while I'm opening up Ecamm Live, trying to find where the hell the little button is so that I can go and put this on. Okay, there it is. Click the like and the subscribe. And by the way, I say the like and subscribe because I accidentally screwed up one time, a long time ago, and I was shooting a video and I'm supposed to say, you know, give it a like and subscribe. And instead I screwed up and I said, give it the like and subscribe. And I actually prefer that. So give it the like and subscribe. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Now I'm doing it again. I got to find the little outro while I'm talking so it looks cool. Outro. Okay, so I'm all ready to go. This is to all of you. And remember 3 words, creator's best friend. That is the most important tool you can have. Connect with people, anyone. If you don't get out much, that's okay. Do it online, but connect with people because people and sharing with people and especially fellow creators, that's what it's all about. I'll see you and thank you for being there for me. Take care.